Um, you know, college, pro hockey are both tough. Your win-loss record, is going to, determine how long you stay around. And so what do you do to keep continuing to improve as a coach so that, you can make your players better and you can be successful as a coach?
Well, like, for one thing, like, as a team, if you ever, like, winning is our business. We're in the winning business. And if you don't win, you're not going to be around for long. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. But we know that's what it's all about when we get into it. And we're going to be going through a huge rebuild this year. And we've had 4 winning seasons, 2 NCAA Final Eights. We've been really good. All those guys are gone. And we're going to be going through a rebuild. And I can tell you right now, before you can win, you first have to become difficult to play against. You have to be a bitch to play against. And I don't care if you're not very talented, you're not very old. You can't be a team where the opponents are going, man, I can't wait to get back. Oh, geez, I hope we get Air Force in the playoff. Like, you want to be so miserable to play against that team, even though they know they're more talented than you, are saying, you know what? I hope we don't have to see them in the playoffs. And so, so before you can win, you first have to become difficult to play against. Now, me as a coach, how have I evolved? I've evolved a lot of ways. First of all, like, I was a one-man band when I started. I was full of juice when I was young, and I was young and I was athletic, and I could go and I could model the drills and all that type of thing. And back then, when Mark started in junior hockey, I started in junior hockey. We didn't have an assistant. It was a one-man band. And then now you evolve, you get assistants, and now, like, I'm 61 years old, maybe 62 in August. Oh God, Social Security age. And you can tell I'm looking forward to that. But it is what it is, better than the alternative. But with that, like, I've had to obviously change how I do business, and I hire good people. Like, I hire the best people I can. I make sure that I try to cover the generational gaps. My guys obviously are younger than me. It's hard to find guys older than me, but you get guys younger than me, and a young guy that can model the drills, a guy that can kind of still understands the music that the kids are playing in the locker room. They understand the TV shows that they're watching, or they understand the video games that they're playing. And because you can't lose touch with that. Now, like, I'm an old guy, and I'm not really in touch with that, but I have somebody on my staff that's in touch with that. And then, because we have to bridge the gap with all the different generations. And I'm a lot more, I delegate a lot more than I used to. I used to just want to do everything myself, and made some mistakes by not empowering my assistants and allowing them to do as much as let them do their job. And now my philosophy is totally, like, hire good people and let them do their job. If they're your recruiter, let them do their job and support them. And even if you think maybe, sometimes you have to step in and veto some things, but if it's something like this, let them make the decision and let them own it and that type of thing. Same thing tactically on the ice, ways we're going to go. We make staff decisions. Now, ultimately, every once in a while, there comes a situation where there's no right or wrong answer, and a lot of times I'll step in and say, here, we're going to go in this direction. But right now, I couldn't coach. I can tell you right now, I could not coach right now. I could not be a head coach right now without the assistants that I have, because there's just certain things I don't have. I got good energy now because I slept a lot last night. I drank a lot of coffee this morning. Come and see me about 2:30, And like, I couldn't do what I do right now without my staff. And a lot of people are afraid to hire people that they might feel are better than them. I'm looking for people like that. I want people that are going to make us better. We had an opportunity to bring Steve Miller down a few years ago. And Steve had his family here. He was in Providence, working for Providence College. They won the national championship. He had won 2 national championships at the University of Denver. They had a coaching change there. Anyway, Steve Miller is a legendary assistant coach, associate coach type. And he didn't want to be away from his family. His family was up in Denver. And we had an opportunity to hire him as our director of hockey, which was, it was like highway robbery, you know? And we took Steve and had him, and I didn't have him do any of the director of hockey stuff like team travel, this and that, like video. I said, your job is to make our coaching staff better. And he coached our coaching staff. Steve went on, now he's back, his family grew up a little bit, they moved to Ohio, he's at Ohio State, making a bunch of money, making them great right now. When he left, I had an opportunity to bring another good man in, Corey Millen, who's if you Google Corey Millen, 2 Olympic teams, played the NHL for the Rangers, the Kings. I mean, one of the greatest American players, probably. Mark got to be what, top 20 for sure, American players of all time. And had an opportunity to bring Corey in. And Corey came in for 2 years, and he brought some expertise to our team and helped our players and our coaching staff get better. So, you know, yeah, like I have evolved, and you go for the dictatorial type of thing way back when, you know, and I'm not Mr. Rogers, I can tell you that. But I mean, but I've come a long ways, and you know, and you got to also learn to know yourself a little bit. I mean, as you guys are going to figure out here in another 15 minutes, a little bit of Frank goes a long ways. You better be careful. You better pick your spots on when you're going to address the team and when you're going to, you know, when you're going to dot them here, you're going to dot them there. But I've evolved, and like I said, if you don't evolve, you know, society evolves, the kids have evolved, and these kids want to know why. You know, they want to know why. Like, you tell them to do something, they want to know why. So you just don't tell them to do it. You tell them, hey, this is why we're doing this, and this is why we're doing this. And I tell the captains, if there's anything you don't agree with, come on in, and we'll talk about it. And if there's a better way of doing things, we're all about changing it. So like, we're in this thing together. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. We're in it together. I really rely on my coaching staff. And you know, I try to inspire them by supporting them, and when they do well, encourage them. I encourage them to you know, help them to get raises, help them to get opportunities. You know, help elevate their titles. Like you know, hey, you know, we're all in this together, and you know, and I think it's important to be a part of a true team. Everybody needs to know that we're only as strong as our weakest link, and everybody's here to try to help each other, make everybody better, and ultimately win a championship.
Coach, one of the takeaways I have from that is that, you know, as a young coach, and now, you know, someone more experienced, you're just more comfortable and confident with yourself that you can hire these people, and you don't feel like they're going to, you know, they're going to make your team and you better. I think that's a real great sign of somebody who's a really good leader who recognizes that, and you're not intimidated by them. You see what value they can bring to there, and I hope that's a good thing that other coaches can take away from that.
Well, I hope so, and keep in mind, the other thing is I love what I'm doing. I love being around the environment. Like, I can't remember, I'm 61 years old, I look back, as far back as I can remember, I can never remember not being a part of the team. It's the most important thing to me in my life, is like, I don't know what I would do if I wasn't part of the team. I mean, a sports team. Like, you know, I don't know what I do. I drive my wife crazy, I can tell you that. And then I'd ultimately be looking for somebody to take me. So ultimately, you know, part of this is, too, you better figure things out, you better evolve. If this is what you want to do, you want to be a part of a team, you want to be a head coach, like, that part of you better evolve, because you can't, plain and simple, you can't do it all yourself anymore. And if this is what you want to do, like, I'm doing it because I feel it's the right thing to do. I think it's the right thing to do for the players, the coaches, the team as a whole, but also don't kid yourself. It's the right thing for me to do for me if I want to survive. Otherwise, the guys that don't, to be honest with you, like, in just in all sincerity, I don't mean this in braggadociously or anything, but there ain't many guys in college hockey that coach a game after their 60th birthday. And I think a lot of the reasons for that is, like, some guys burn out, and I'm fortunate I've got enough passion where that hasn't been the case. I love what I'm doing, but also I think there's a lot of guys that have just refused to evolve. And again, if you refuse to evolve, like, hey, I can tell, like, there's certain things you know, I'll delegate. I've got a great assistant. He's a great orator, Joe Doyle. Worked with Mark down at USA Hockey. He's one of our grads. And I will have Joe, I'll say, hey, like I'll tell him, Joe, we need to send this message today. I want you to send it. And the reason I'm having him send it is because, like, either I think he can do a better job at sending that message than I can, or the players are going to take it, buy it a lot more from him coming from the assistant than coming from the head coach. And but so like it is what it is. Like again, we all have to evolve. Times change, and I don't care what profession you're in. That applies everywhere, I believe.
Definitely. We talked a lot about your evolution as a coach and coming around. What's something that you know, from a coaching standpoint, that you know now that you wish you had known when you started out?
Well, it's hard to say, but because it was different way back then. Like, and you know, sometimes what your greatest attribute can be your biggest detriment. And at a young age, like I got a good foundation from Bob Peters, Bob Janander, Doug Woog. I got a good foundation to start my coaching. And I wish I would have reached out more. I wish I would have done more education, you know, because there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat. And just, you know, I wish I would have kind of, but then again, you know, my drive and my confidence, those things also, you know, were also helped you succeed. So the times are so different from now until you look back, and now like I'm in a position where I've got this staff and I've got these assistants. Keep in mind when I started, like I had no money. I was the staff. I was a one-man staff. I didn't have assistant coaches, and you know, I started out. I'm like, hey, I ordered all the equipment. I did all the team travel. You know, I sharpened the skates. I threw the ice on the case of soda for each team before the game started. I put ice on the pucks. I did everything except drive the Zamboni, and some guys even drove the Zamboni. You know, so you know, and I think, you know, one thing about going through like I went through at that time, and Mark, you went through it in the same way. You did it all. We had to. I mean, that was the part of the job. One of the things now, like you know, as you evolve and get older, like I don't have to be the trainer. I don't have to be the equipment guy. I don't have to do the team travel. I don't have to be in charge of the strength and conditioning. And but I'll tell you what, like I have a great appreciation for the people that do that because I had to do it. And you know, now there's guys that start at a certain level, and I don't think, you know, whenever I see somebody not being disrespectful, guys aren't generally disrespectful, but not as respectful as they can be, you know, I'll freaking grab them right away. And I said, you know how hard that guy's job is, you know, because you better appreciate everybody in the food chain. And I've been talking about coaches, I've talked about the players and championships, and don't forget those people. Don't forget the trainer. Hey, you want to know something? You want to know something about your team? If you want to know something about your team, you know who you ask? Go ask the trainer. Because the boys, for some reason, think the trainer is either invisible or has no hearing, or else has no relationship with the coaching staff. They freaking know everything. You know, you're having issues, talk to the trainer. He'll tell you he's already got it figured out. And the equipment guy too, they're always nice to the equipment guy. The players are the nicest to the equipment guy because they get that's who gives them their sticks and their new skates and all that type of thing. So, you know, I think that's when I retire from coaching, I want to be an equipment guy. You know, I just want people to be nice to me.
Loved.
Yeah, just to be loved.
You just want to be loved, don't you?
And it's conditional love, but I'll take that. I'm in my 60s, so what the hell? Love, okay?
I hear you.
I don't know if I answered your question, but
I don't care at this point whether you answer my question or not. I just like your responses regardless. I'm on to my last question, then I'll go around and play Phil Donahue, and we'll see if anybody gets that reference in the room. Okay, great. Air Force Academy is unique in college sports. You know, it and the other two service academies that will go unnamed. draw a different breed of student and different breeds of athletes. What do you and your staff do to kind of develop them as whole athletes and also whole people?
Well, one thing about the academy, just the qualifications alone weeds out a lot of people. We don't get a lot of kids that aren't self-starters and that type of thing, Now, sometimes I wish that they could skate a little bit better and handle the puck a little bit better, but they try plenty hard, and people often ask me how I inspire my players, and I'll tell you right now, at the Air Force Academy, my players inspire me. I mean, these kids got 20 some hours every semester, they've got to do what all other Division I athletes do in regards to training on the ice, weightlifting, training off the ice. Plus, they got responsibilities militarily. These are amazing young people that go to all the academies, not just the Air Force Academy. They go to all the academies, and getting down to that, what's difficult, obviously, there's no utopia. I don't care if you're at Michigan or Minnesota, that's great, and you're going to attract a great student, be able to attract a great student athlete there, but also the professional teams are going to try to poach those kids, and there's certain expectations if you're coaching at a school like that as well. So there's no utopia, and our school is, we have to, in hockey, in all sports, but these kids have got to be good hockey players. They've got to be good citizens. They've got to be very good citizens, very good students. They've got to be willing to accept a 5-year commitment in the military. They got to be U.S. citizens. I say, other than that, my job's easy. We have players everywhere. But that's shrinking the pool. Oh, they can't have anything wrong with them. You can't have asthma or anything like that. And you're not seen seriously wrong, but we had a kid we lost the other day because of a vision thing. And it wasn't like he's blind. The guy plays hockey. So we have a lot of restrictions that way. But there is there are kids out there that fit that criteria. And our job is to find those kind of kids and sell them on what we have, because for the right kid, our opportunities are fantastic. And you better believe that. You better believe in what you're doing and what you're selling. And because if you don't, then you need to go work somewhere else. So our goal is it's fun when you do find that right kid where the academy education is important, the scholarship is important, the job opportunities are important. They have a high level of respect for the level of Division I hockey that we play at. And when we find that right kid, it's not a hard sell. It's not a hard sell to come to academy. But you can't go around looking to get kids. You can't pound square pegs into round holes. So we have to find the right kid. But interestingly enough, other than my dad going to Korea, I didn't know anything about the military, and came from a very patriotic part of the country, but where a lot of guys serve. But I didn't know anything about the military. I never thought that a job like this would appeal to me. And I came here. I came here and interviewed for I was going to go to Pittsburgh. My buddy got the job with the Pittsburgh Penguins. If you're familiar with the Penguins, there's a guy named Mario Lemieux. He was making a comeback from cancer and back issues and whatnot. And I was going to go and be an assistant for Kevin Constantine in Pittsburgh. And this job came open in Air Force. And Buddy called me. I was coaching at Colorado College. Donnie Lucia said, "Would you be interested in this?" I go, I don't think I would be interested in that. And then I came home, I told my wife that, Don had talked to me, and she kind of chewed my butt out. She goes, "You tell your players to look into their options all the time. You're not going to look into all your options?" And she goes, "I kind of liked it in Colorado." Anyway, I got the message, and I came out and interviewed for the job, and it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be like. I expected to come in and see a bunch of grim-faced kids goose-stepping around, and it wasn't that way at all. These are just regular kids, normal kids, and that the Air Force Academy was their best opportunity to, get an Ivy League type education, to be on a full scholarship, to have job opportunities afterwards, to play Division I hockey. And I went home and told my wife, it's kind of a cool place. I think we should do that for a couple of years if they offer it to me. And they did. So, and we went in to do it for a couple of years, and 22 years I'm still here. And it's kind of funny, sometimes you just don't know I would never have guessed, there's 60 Division I schools, and if I would have told me as a 30-year-old coach, you'd list them in order where you'd like to coach, Air Force would have been 59th and Army would have been 60th, but I found my place, I found my calling. They appreciate me. It's great to be in a place that appreciates you and what you bring to the table. I tell you about these kids we have to recruit, and it's not easy. They have to be really good students. I said, it's an interesting place, the Air Force Academy. You have to have a 26, 27, 28 on your ACT to get in, but you only need a 14 or 15 to coach, so that worked out well for me.
Yeah, the kids at the Air Force Academy, I got a behind-the-scenes tour about one of the former fencing coaches there, and wandering through the dormitory, it was amazing. Your athletes do the thing like I said all the other Division I athletes do. They go to classes, very academically rigorous classes, like many other schools, but at none of them do they get their, does someone come in and inspect their bed in the dormitory to make sure that it is squared away in a certain area, and if not, they get demerits, and there's no privacy. So there is that level there that is not at other universities.
And when you were ranking, a lot of accountability.
When you were ranking those, it was good that you ranked Air Force before Army.
Yeah, so. No doubt. No, there's a lot of accountability, and what all these kids do. And to be honest with you, the kids that go to the civilian schools, there's great kids everywhere, and they're doing great things too. But obviously, real proud of our guys and the expectations and the workload that they have. And then to be able to win at the level that we won at is this is way more about them than it is about me.
Okay, questions? I'm gonna bring the mic around because the acoustics aren't very good.
Thank you, Coach. I have two children. A son who's 10, a daughter who's 8, and I just kept thinking I would have loved to have them hear your talk here about what you were saying, because I think there's a lot of that missing for our younger people. So if they were here, what advice would you give to those children, particularly as it relates to sport participation?
What advice
would you give to my kids if they were
give to your kids? Probably give more advice to you, to be honest with you, I think as parents in this day and age, like, we want our kids to succeed so bad. We love them so much. And I think you gotta let them have a little freedom. You gotta keep an eye on them. But, it's not a bad thing, for them to try things and fail. I think, I'll just give you an example. Like, I get so many letters from parents telling me, I would really like to bring my son in for a campus visit. He's very interested in the Air Force Academy, blah, 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 blah. And sometimes I'll reply to him and I say, you know what? Like, I'm all for this, and I will accommodate this, but I want your son to write me. I don't want to hear from you. I want to hear from your son. And make them accountable. Give them ownership in their life. And obviously, ownership to an 18-year-old is different than ownership to an 18-year-old. But don't try to do everything for them. And that's not just in what they aspire to be, but even around the house. And let me tell you, Joe hypocrite right here, because like me and my wife, we've done way too much. Our kids are great, but like we did way too much and enabled them and make them accountable for everyday chores. Bringing their clothes up and throwing them in the bed. Maybe even washing and cleaning their clothes at a certain time. Cleaning up their dishes. Just simple things as a youngster. And if you're doing those things, you're a good parent. Just give them some accountability and some ownership, and then, I guess it's kind of the same way as with my team. Okay, what's the end game here? We want to win a championship. Okay, with your child, what's the end game? Do they want to go to college? Do they want to pursue some type of profession? Well, are they doing all the things that they need to do to set them up to be able to accomplish those things? And so I think, you know, obviously things will evolve but from the time they're 8 to the time they're 18. But I think you help manage that. You know, don't control it, but help manage that. You know what I mean? And I don't know if I answered your question, but yeah.
Not only coaching, but parenting advice as well. I mean, come on, that's worth the price of the conference right there.
You had mentioned you want your teams to play for each other. Do you have practical applications that you do with the team bonding or stuff like that, or is it more conceptual? You keep it. You got to work for Johnny. You got to work for so and so, or do you actually have practical applications that you can share with?
We have this really, probably the best team building program in the country. It's called Basic Cadet Training. And our guys learn very quickly. They become friends very quickly with all the other kids that are getting hollered at as well. And they form a very special bond. And in all sincerity, bringing a little bit of humor to it, but like, no matter what you're doing, like, you're gonna face adversity, and how are you gonna respond in the face of adversity when things start to go south? You know, are you gonna pull together as a group? Are you gonna be the guy or the gal that helps pull that group together when things go south? Or are you gonna be the one that's pointing the fingers? And when shit goes south, you got these kind of people. You got fingers and you got thumbs. And you want the thumbs people that are going to get everybody together and okay, this happened. What are we going to do about it? We can take care of this. We can change things, but the only way we can change it is we change it collectively. So I guess, you know, with you in terms of finding things to do team building wise, find things to do that challenge the group and challenge each individual as a part of that group, and then see how they respond to that. And that's one thing that I've learned from the military. Like this thing about breaking people down and building them up. Like, it's not just breaking them down and building them up. It's a matter of breaking them down, you know, challenging their confidence, challenging their self-esteem, and then how are they going to respond to that? And the key to all the things that we do in basic training is there's solutions to every problem, but the solution begins with a collective effort. So, do you know what I mean? So, like, I think all those things are good. There's things that you can do, and you know, whether you're coaching, you're CEO of a Fortune 500 company, or you're coaching your son's or daughter's sport team. You know, there's things that you can do at that age appropriate. You know what I mean? To help them make those steps, because ultimately that's what this sports is all about. Not many people are going to make a living playing sports, but what you want from sports is these kids learn life lessons. You know what? I'll tell you right now, it's pathetic. You know, our game right now, you know, we love our game. We're prejudiced, but we think we got the greatest game in the world. Who plays our game now, Mark? Is it poor kids? No. We have a blue-collar game. Like, it's as blue-collar as they come. It's not a contact sport, it's a collision sport. And it's as blue-collar as it comes. And we have white-collar kids playing a blue-collar game just because it costs so damn much to play. And like, these kids that play hockey, at least the kids that have gotten to our level, and that shouldn't even be that level, not even that, but they learn so many life lessons. You get your ass knocked down, you got to get it back up, and you got to get back in the fight. You know, if you're being a pain in the ass around your teammates, they're going to alienate you. They're going to put you in your place. And you know, you learn to deal with adversity. Things can be going good, and all of a sudden, boom, you blow out your knee, and now you have to learn to deal. But like someday, you know, when these kids grow up and they're having trouble with their job or having trouble in their marriage, like, what experience are they going to draw from? Like, I can tell you, my kids wanted for nothing growing up. Wanted for nothing. I mean, I would say adversity in my kid's life is when the joystick broke on the Xbox and they had to wait a day for mom to get the target and replace it. That was adversity, you know. But out in that rink, dad coach here is a Division I college hockey coach, but when they're on that rink, doesn't matter what your daddy's doing, like you're on your own, and if you want that puck, you better go get it, and you better fight for it, you better be a good teammate, you better be this, and you better be that, and so, that's what, to me, what sports is ultimately about, and the kids that play our sport, they're, like I said, they don't want for a whole lot, but the kids that play our sport, they go on, and they come to college, and they go on, and they know when they go on into the corporate world, like, they know what they know what it's like, they know how to be a great teammate, they know that success is, if you want success in any endeavor, it's going to come because your team is great, it's not individual. I used to get kids in junior hockey that were selfish kids, and I ultimately I'd bring them in my office and have that talk with them. They're selfish. It's all about them. They're trying to chisel points or whatever it is. And I remember telling one young man, I said, you know what? You need to give up hockey, and you need to play. You know what? You need to go play tennis, and not doubles, singles. Trying to get them to buy into the team concept because. We win at Air Force not because we have the most talented players. I always like to say we don't have one player on our team, and we don't have one player on our team. We don't know any NHL draft choices. We don't have one player on our team that has it all. But collectively, within the framework of our team, we have it all. This person here has got good skating ability. This gal here has got great playmaking skills. This gal here is got a scoring touch. You've got good physical presence, and we need you too, okay? And we don't have one person that has it all, but collectively within the framework of our team, we have it all. Everybody has a role, they take pride in their role, and we win not because we're a great collection of individuals, we win because we're a great team.
I want to finish off with one thing. I did a little research before talking to you. We've not met before. We had a phone conversation the other day, and with Tate's help, he reminded me, or he or Ken, one of you two reminded me of something. Can you discuss the commonalities and the differences between the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, and officials?
I've only met one of those. That's the only difference, yes. You obviously didn't play that video. Had you shown that video yet?
No, I did not. No.
Yeah.
And where did you meet one of those, and which one?
Well, I met Santa in a bar in San Francisco. Really good guy. Really good guy. Yeah. There's a reason why he's got that red nose, I'll tell you. But yeah, I met Santa. Yeah, I met Santa. I haven't met the Easter Bunny. I haven't met Bigfoot, but I met Santa. Yeah.
And what about officials?
Officials. Yeah. You know what? Like, these people want to get the hell out of here. We're going to start talking about referees. We're going to be here we'll be here for another hour. I have a really good relationship with a lot of people, and with most officials I do too, but I have a little bit of a contentious relationship with they've got a tough job to do too. And but you know what my thing is right now? And it's with life, and it's with meeting with you folks, and I can tell thank you for putting up with me. And your group, I can tell just by looking at you, you're passionate about what you do. And I don't do anything anymore unless it's fun. Like I did. If they want me to come down here and talk, if it ain't fun, I ain't doing it. And the same thing with my job, and my goal every day is I wake up and I want to have fun today, doing whatever I do, whether it's running my camps with the kids that are there, coming to speak with you, meeting with my team. We're gonna have some fun with it. And I think all of you. I had a buddy of mine is much older than me, and he told me when he retired, he said, I knew it was time for me to retire when I quit laughing at all the shit that kids do, and what he means by kids are going to be pranksters, they're going to be fun. Obviously, there's a line, they cross that line, and that's a different thing. But he goes you need to be able to come to work, and you have a goal, and you want to accomplish this, you want to accomplish that, there's something you want to accomplish on the ice from that day, but you also, you got to have fun, and you got to create a fun environment. And if you're a coach and you're involved in sports, ultimately, why did I like sports and I didn't like school? Why did I like sports and I didn't like school? one was fun to me and one wasn't, you know? And the same thing right now, I don't care if you're coaching 6-year-olds, if you're coaching 16-year-olds, or you're coaching 26 or 36-year-old pros, they still want to have fun. You got to make it fun. It's got to be fun to come to the rink. And then obviously, you dig in, you dial in, you know what the expectations, what your job is, and what you need to do, you know, to help the team and maintain your status on that team. But ultimately, you know, what you need, it's got to be fun. And when it quits, when it stops being fun to you, that's when you got to get out and find something else to do.
I think that's a great note to end on.